Sisters and nieces, welcome to my channel. It is yours truly, Zabrica Rachel with Divinely Nourished. I am here to talk to you about the breastfeeding thing. Today's topic is going to be about how to know if your baby is actually getting enough. There are multiple ways to determine if your baby is getting enough to eat, and we will touch on a few of them. The first thing that we're going to discuss is getting a deep and comfortable latch. I can do many videos on how to get a deep and comfortable latch, but I'll try to be thorough but brief. And then I'll choose another video to go in depth about getting a latch. But getting the perfect latch is essential to successful breastfeeding. So it is extremely important. So I'll take some time to demonstrate what a successful latch looks like. And then I also want to discuss 5 cents feeding, which is a term that I actually made up. 5 cents feeding. So you've heard it here first. And basically what we're going to be talking about is what you see, what you hear, what the baby smells, what the baby tastes, and what it feels like in order to determine if the baby is having a comfortable and successful latch. And then after that, I want to talk a little bit about the newborn belly standards through the first month and intake, how much your baby's tummy can actually hold per feeding, if there's time. So, all right, let's get into it. If this is something that sounds like something you're interested in, then I want you to come in, have a seat, and let's breastfeed the baby. Okay, everyone, I have my baby. Named her Lamaya. She's a silicone newborn doll. She is so cute. But all right, so I'm here with Lamaya, and I'm going to demonstrate just the most common like breastfeeding position that people use, and just give some tips on how to get that good latch. All right, so the first key to getting a deep and comfortable latch, which I tell mamas all the time, is that mom needs to be comfortable first. So mama, take some time to find a comfortable position somewhere for you to sit. Prop up pillows behind you, as many pillows as you need so that you can be comfortable, and then make use of pillows to put all around you to help lift your baby up so that she can be closer to you. Use as many pillows as you need to. It doesn't have to be a boppy or anything special. Just use what you got, as many as you need to. So the most common position is going to be cradle, cross cradle, or even the football position. But I'm going to say cradle is probably the most common position. So that's basically when you're just holding your baby in your arm like this. Now, first I want to talk a little bit about positioning because it is very important. If your baby isn't positioned properly, your baby may not be able to effectively remove milk. So make sure that you have your baby positioned belly to belly with you, mama. Your baby should be laying on their side when they're breastfeeding. The thing is, if your baby's belly is facing up, that means that your baby has to turn their head in order to eat. And so when they swallow, their head is turned away from their belly like that. And if you've ever tried to swallow with your head turned like this, it's really hard to get a swallow in. So it's not comfortable. So that can affect how much milk is getting to the baby. So make sure your baby is belly to belly with you. Their face and their belly should be facing the same way during the feeding. All right, so that's the most common position. And then another common mistake that mamas make, which I don't want to get too much into positioning, but having the baby so high up in the crook of their arm like this, and their head is like right here in the crook of their arm, and then the baby's neck is like scrunched down like this, and so they have to eat and they have to swallow like that. If your baby's neck is extended and you can see that neck and their chin is buried into the breast, that is what we want to see. So we want that chin to be buried deep into the breast. That allows for the nose to be clear when they're breastfeeding. The best way to achieve that position in the cradle position is to bring the baby down on the forearm a little bit and adjust your baby so that the baby is more down here instead of in the crook of the arm, and then facing you for effective breastfeeding. The next thing is going to be the latch. So as we're talking about the latch, I'm gonna start talking about the 5 sense feeding. So if we're talking about the latch, then the first thing that we're going to be talking about is the smell, right? So the first sense is going to be the smell. This is for the baby. So I always tell parents, rub your nipple to the tip of the baby's nose and the top of the baby's lip. Your baby needs to smell that milk and know what's going on. The moment they start feeling that little tickle on their nose, their mouth should start opening up, widening out, and just kind of looking around for mama's breast. Once they have that widest open mouth, mama, the widest open that they can get, bring your baby into the breast. Don't bring your breast to the baby, because if you feed like that, eventually your back is going to start hurting. So relax, lay back. Once your baby has that widest open mouth, bring your baby into the breast, okay? Bring your baby to you, not you to the baby, okay? Another thing that's helpful is to really sandwich that breast. We don't want the baby on the tip of the nipple. We want as much of the areola in the baby's mouth as possible. And your baby's gonna have a pretty tiny mouth. They may not be able to open their mouth completely. That's why sandwiching that breast, like really turning it into a sandwich and making it as flat as you can, is very helpful in order to get your baby as big a mouthful as possible. So once your baby has the widest open mouth, you need to get that nipple deep into the baby's mouth, as close to the back of the throat as possible. That way, when your baby comes down to compress, your nipple is free in the baby's mouth. If your baby just hops onto that nipple, and please keep in mind, there's absolutely no milk in the nipple is more like a straw. So if your baby comes and latches on that nipple, that is going to cause you so much pain. This is where the breastfeeding is painful idea comes from. So then an incorrect latch most of the time. So if that baby comes down and starts compressing on your nipple, in no time at all, you're gonna have damaged and painful, sore, cracked, bleeding nipples, which can lead to other problems. So please, for the love of God, make sure you get that nipple deep into your baby's mouth, as close to the back of the throat as possible. That way, when they come down to compress, your nipple is free in the mouth. That is the key to getting a deep and comfortable latch, okay? That is so important in terms of like making sure your baby is getting enough. If you're in pain with breastfeeding, anything beyond the initial latch is abnormal. If it hurts initially when your baby latches on, but then it goes away and gets more comfortable as the feeding progresses, that's okay. Tender but tolerable is what we're going for. But if it hurts the whole entire feeding, you will want to figure out what's going on with that latch and correct it as quickly as you can. Another thing I want to mention about that latch is that if your baby gets on there and they start going to town and you don't want to break that latch, but it's not wide enough, you can widen that latch out by allowing your baby to stay on the breast, but then pulling this bottom lip down like this and flanging the top lip up like that. And you want it to just kind of be flanged out like duck lips. And a lot of times that will help to like widen that jaw out a little bit. Okay, so that is how you prepare for breastfeeding with positioning and making sure you get that latch correct. Okay, so the next thing I wanted to discuss is the touch and the feel. So once you get the baby latched on, immediately you will know if this is going to be a comfortable latch. So if the baby hops on there and there's no pain beyond like the initial first few seconds and it goes away, that's going to be a good sign. But what else do you feel? Do you feel the suckling of the baby? Do you feel the baby suckling at your breast and tugging milk out? That's going to be a good sign that your baby is getting enough. Can you feel the letdown pulling through your breast? Can you feel the baby actively suckling and pulling milk through? That's going to be a sign on whether or not your baby is getting enough to eat. The next thing is going to be taste mouth. This is also about the baby. We want to know, is your baby swallowing? Does it look like your baby is swallowing? Does it sound like your baby is swallowing? Do you see any kind of milk around your baby's mouth? That's what we're looking for. So along with taste is going to be 4 and 5, what you see and what you hear, to determine if the feeding is going well. So what you should see is, you should see your baby's cheeks suck, suck, suck. and then you should see your baby's neck swallow. Okay, the swallow, I'm not sure if you can see it, but the swallow in the neck is going to look like this. Okay, you can even hear that swallow. That's what we want to hear every time. Initially, when your milk is just coming in, you'll see your baby's cheeks suck, 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 and then you'll hear a swallow after a few sucks. As your milk starts to transition and loosen up, you will see suck, swallow, suck, swallow, suck, swallow, and it'll almost be like gulps. You'll hear the baby. You'll hear that sound, and that will be a good sign on whether or not your baby is getting enough. The other things I want you to pay attention to is body language. When your baby's breastfeeding, does your baby look comfortable? Is your baby content? Is your baby, hold on. Bella, scram. Sorry. Is your baby comfortable? Does your baby look like they're becoming satisfied? Are they falling asleep at the breast? Body language is going to tell you everything. Are they loose, like a lint, like a wet noodle? Are they just like relaxed and just kind of, falling asleep? This is going to tell you whether or not your baby is getting fed or not. If your baby is hungry and starving at the breast, they're going to be agitated and irritated, and they're going to fuss and cry and pull off, be on the breast, come off the breast. The whole feeding is not going to be consistent and smooth if the baby isn't getting enough or becomes frustrated. Another thing to determine whether or not the baby is getting enough is going to come after the fact. So if you're exclusively breastfeeding, pay attention to your baby's wet and poopy diapers. This is going to determine whether or not they're getting enough. A lot of mamas don't know exactly what to expect with the stools, so they always start out dark, like very dark, black, even tarry, meconium, and then eventually it transitions into regular baby poop. It's yellow, loose, and seedy, kind of like mustard. Breastfed baby poop is what that looks like, but it does transition. It takes a few days for it to fully transition to that yellow color. On day 1, we expect your baby to have 1 wet diaper and 1 poopy diaper. On day 2, we expect your baby to have 2 wet diapers and 2 poopy diapers. On day 3, we expect your baby to have 3 wet diapers and 3 poopy diapers. And on day 4 and beyond, we expect them to have at least 3 diapers and 5 to 6 or more wet diapers per day going forward. So if your baby is meeting that standard, then your baby is likely getting enough to eat. If your baby is not having that many diapers and they're exclusively breastfed, then you should reach out to the pediatrician or a nurse line and see if that would warrant you to come in and check for dehydration. All right, guys, the very, very, very last thing that I did want to talk about is just newborn tummy sizes. On day 1, your baby only needs a few drops, up to 5 mils of colostrum per feeding. This is not a lot. This is literally drops. On day 2, they can take anywhere from 5 to 15 mils per feeding at each feeding. On day 4, they're taking anywhere from 30 to 45 mils per feeding. On day 5, from 5 to 7, they're taking anywhere from 45 to 60 mils. And when they're 2-3 weeks old, they're taking anywhere from 60 to 90 mils. So that's what we're getting into 2-3 ounces. And by the time they're 1 month, from the time they're 1 month to 6 months, they can be taking anywhere from 90 to 150 mils, which is anywhere from 3 to 5 ounces per feeding. You are never going to have your baby walking around here with an 8-ounce bottle of breast milk. Breast milk absolutely does not work that way. It changes to meet the needs of the baby. We will talk about that in another video, but it is New Year's Eve, and I just wanted to get this out here really quick so that it's ready for you guys tomorrow at the top of the year. Please like and subscribe. Leave any questions that you have in the comments below. I will be looking forward to interacting with you guys. The next video I'm going to upload will be on the 8th. And I haven't decided the topic yet. I'll probably talk a little bit more about positioning and latching. I can do a whole series on positioning and latching, but tell me what you guys want to see, and then I'll make a plan to get a video out for you guys. Right now, the videos will be uploaded every Thursday at 6 a.m. I will try to keep you busy with reels and whatever else I can. But as always, if you have any questions or if you need anything, leave a comment below. I'll see you guys next time. Bye. Congratulations. Bye.